good evening once again. We'll go ahead and get started. My name is Gloria Rendon, Deputy Superintendent for Safety and Student Services. I thank you all for being here with us this evening and sharing this evening with District 7 Board Member, Mr. Francisco Frank Castillo, and District Administrators. To those of you who are here present, welcome. And to those of you who are online viewing from home, welcome also to our first Town Hall meeting. Mr. Castillo asked that this town hall meeting, and I want to state that this is the first one in our district, be held in one of our schools that he represents to inform you, District 7 constituents, about district initiatives, programs, and projects impacting District 7, and to allow the constituents of this district the opportunity to hear from him as well as UISD administrators. We have several areas to present to you this evening, areas of academics, safety, budget, and an update of construction projects. At the end of the session, attendees will have the opportunity to dialogue with Mr. Castillo and district administrators as well. Before moving on and proceeding with the presentation, I would like to have some just general introductions. In the audience here is Mr. David H. Gonzalez, Superintendent of Schools. And also in attendance are members of the Superintendent's Management Team, Mr. David Garcia, Associate Superintendent for Human Resources, Mr. Mike Garza, Associate Superintendent for Student Support Services, Ms. Laida Benavides, Chief Financial Officer, Enrique Rangel, Assistant Superintendent for Facilities and Construction, and I'm looking for Hector Perez, but I do not see him. Sorry, Assistant Superintendent for Technology. Thank you, Mr. Perez. Also to my right, of course, I'm Mr. Frank Castillo, and we also have Christina Casanova, Executive Director for Instructional Accountability, and Cynthia Rodriguez, Executive Director for Elementary Instruction. And they will be presenting some information to our audience. Before handing the microphone to Mr. Castillo, I would like to share a little bit of background information about our board member, Mr. Castillo. He is our newest board member. He was elected to office a little over a year ago in 2020 of November, and his term ends in 2024. He holds a Bachelor of Arts degree in Political Science and a Master of Public in Public Administration from Texas A&M International University. He is currently serving as a Webb County Juvenile Probation Officer. He was born and raised in Laredo, and he is very passionate about providing the best educational opportunities for all of our students. He is committed to ensuring that the district and its programs operate efficiently and effectively. Members of the audience, I present Mr. Frank Castillo.
Thank you, Mrs. Rendon. I appreciate the intro. And gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen, my name is Frank Castillo. I am your representative in District 7 School Board. I don't do well behind a lectern or a podium, so I hope you don't mind that I walk around. I hope it doesn't distract you. One of the reasons I wanted to do a town hall meeting was because when I was running for this elective office, I decided that I wanted to be with the residents, with the people who sometimes do not get to see, we don't get to see in the school boards. We don't get to see up in the departments that we work with. And so I wanted to be able to have an opportunity to not only meet you, for you to meet me, because I think during this term that we are in the COVID era, we haven't had a chance to talk or mingle or chat or whatever term you want to use. We just haven't had that time. We might have more things in common than you realize. What I'm doing today is really representative of a process that I began as a young person. I remember my dad telling us, always listen to people. There's always two sides to everything that you're going to hear. There's two sides of the coin. So I've kept that in my mind to learn that I should never make judgment before I hear all the information that I need to do. And so more importantly, now as a school board member, I have to concentrate on always listening to diverse views. I feel that I should owe you that respect and that you should owe me at least some degree of understanding of what I'm trying to do as a school board member, which is respectful, at the same time, balanced before we make decisions. I am one of 7 members. One of 7. I have to collaborate also with my fellow board members to make sure that we're doing things right for the school district. And in conjunction with our superintendent, we have to make the best decisions we can. Perhaps they're not always the best or the most proper or correct, but they are for the best interest of our school district, which includes our school children. So I decided to have this because I had promised the constituents who elected me that I would have a town hall meeting every year. And as we approach the conclusion of this calendar year, I am here and I kept my promise. First of all, as a school board member, we really have 5 duties that we have to do. One is we plan and oversee. The correct term is overseeing what the school district does. We are here to oversee that the goals and objectives of the school district are being met, and that we have a process in place that monitors that progress. The second is that we make policy, that we have the opportunity to make policy that impacts our school children, impacts our teachers, impacts our staff. That is the second goal. The third is, of course, planning a budget. We have a budget to run. We have to keep within our financial means. The third, I think that's the fourth. The third was hiring our superintendent and ensuring that he is doing what we want done with our school district. And the fifth one, which is why I'm here today, is that we must collaborate and cooperate with the community needs. We are here because the necessary things that we need to collaborate not only with parents, which we value, and they need to give us what their thoughts and ideas are, but we also have to collaborate with other levels of government, whether they be city, they be state, county, state, or federal. We have to do programs that encourages us to save time and money to be able to do the things that we want to do to help our school children. Therefore, with that in mind, those are the 5 goals that we have as school board members. All of us share it. And the most important one that we're meeting tonight is collaborate with the community. And that's why I invited everyone to be present today. And so with that, I will conclude. I know you'll have questions, and I'll be here to entertain the questions, but first we have a few individuals that need to discuss the following. Ms. Rendon, you want to take over, please? Ms. Rendon will continue with moderating tonight's meeting.
So as mentioned to you all, we have a few updates to share with you. Mr. Gonzalez will present a district update. Then Ms. Casanova, Ms. Rodriguez will give you curriculum and instruction updates in the academic areas. I'll come back on and do COVID-19 and safety measures. Ms. Benavides will do the federal funds or the ESSER fundings that we have. And Mr. Rangel will present the facilities and the bond program. So Mr. Gonzalez?
And good evening, everybody. First of all, thank you for being here, taking some time out of your schedule to be with us. I want to recognize our board, Mr. Castillo, for putting this together. More than anything else, we're going to collaborate with him as far as what we need for our community. So we're going to start off here. This is our district update. Current enrollment, right now we're at 39,680 as of November 29th. Our demographics, economic disadvantage, we're at 75.4%. Our emerged bilingual student, we're about 37.7, about 38% of our students. Our attendance right now is about 93.26 as of November the 17th. Our budget is about $400 million. Employees full-time, we have about 6,700. As far as demographics for our campuses, we have 30 elementary schools, 11 middle schools. Within those 11 middle schools, when we have a 6th grade campus, that'd be United Middle, a 6th grade campus. We have our 4 high schools. We have our 4 and 9th grade campuses for each high school. our one STEP Academy, which is a DAP, and the Specialized Center for our Sheriff Center. I'd like to go back to the ninth grade campus. This is a concept that we took years ago and we implemented in our bond as we were growing as a district. United High School, where Herrera Middle School is right now, that was United High School. We had so many portables out there, unbelievable. We were growing. So what happened was, as we were growing, that became the ninth grade campus for United as the United was built. And from our data, from what we saw was our students were performing better than before academically with the STAR assessments and the course. We also noticed that attendance was higher. We also noticed that the bullying numbers were going down. Our referrals for discipline were going down. And what showed in our demographics and our data was by having a ninth grade campus, we were better off as a district. So that's one of the reasons, and probably the main reason why 2013 bond, we included the ninth grade campuses for each high school. This is something that we're very proud of, and it's been very successful. This year, calendar revision, students' last day of the fall semester, again, was now going to be December 17th. We looked at data, we looked at our numbers, and we had a special call meeting this Monday. So for those of you parents, understand the last day of school for this 2021 will be the 17th of December. Herrera Middle School opened up this year, and United Middle School expanded to include a sixth grade campus. There's a district update. This one we're very excited about, and I'm going to invite all of you to look at these pictures. There's the Aquatic Center. We just completed this past October. It is absolutely beautiful. It is something state-of-the-art for our students, for our community with UISD. It is something that has been in the works for a long time. And Mr. Rangel will give you more insight on it, but I will tell you, going in there, I am in awe. And there's something that is very deserving for our community, more importantly for our students. The academics in person, I'm going to turn over Mrs. Chris Casanova.
Good evening. In person, I'm here to talk about instruction and what we are doing with instruction. Right now, we are currently servicing over 39,000 students in-person learning versus last year that most of the students were learning remotely. They were at home. So this was a big adjustment this year coming back, not only for the students, as well as for the teachers. So we are providing currently remote conferencing for those students who, for whatever reason, they cannot come to school. For example, if they are sick with COVID or they are sick less than 20 days, we are offering remote instruction to those students. They will come back, and that is going strong. Now, any student over 20 school days, we have to get permission from TEA. So we do submit to TEA for any student over 20 days that will be receiving remote instruction. What is new this year is House Bill 4545. And this House bill was just passed early June. And with this House bill, TEA understood and the legislatures understood that they are going to need some form of remediation. So they passed a law, HB 4545, for any student who failed any subject for the STAR test. And what the school district is responsible for is to provide remediation for every single subject that they failed. We have to provide 30 hours of accelerated instruction in that subject. So we are closely monitoring these numbers. We have also provided within our scope and sequence the opportunity for teachers to offer some of this remediation within the classroom. So we have to monitor how much time the student has been receiving so that we meet the letter of the law, those 30 hours for every subject that they fail. Along with coming back from COVID, the legislatures also knew that students as well as teachers were going to need some form of social emotional learning, being that it is a big adjustment coming back from being almost over a year at home, because remember, we started in March of 2020, and it was a big adjustment across the whole state, being that we needed to improve on our technology skills, being that we had to provide this instruction from home to the students. And our social emotional learning curriculum, we're really proud of it because our counselors, we have a counseling committee which comprises the counselors, and they come in and they write this curriculum for the whole district. And we feel that this curriculum, it should be done every day for a minimum of 10 minutes. So for example, this week's positive character trait is punctuality. So it comes with a video, and the teacher can have like a discussion with the students. So this not only, we've gotten so many positive responses from the teachers saying, you know what, we really enjoy this curriculum. It not only helps my students, and we get to talk about things that are bothering them, for example, talking about punctuality and the importance of being punctual to activities, to school, to any event that they have. So, and this week's affirmation is, I can be on time every day. So the students hear this and realize the importance. They get the perspective of the teacher as well as the other students talking about our social emotional learning. So this is helping throughout the whole district. We're really proud of this initiative. We tried this initiative in 1920, but you know that COVID hit. What we want to do is we want to promote our students when they get to high school. We want to give them the opportunity to earn college credits. Not only is this a help on the parent, where the district has that cost, pays for these classes for the student, they earn these college credits. So when they get post-secondary education, they have some of these college credits already under their belt. So what we are doing is every middle school student in their college and career readiness course, when they take that course, they will take the TSI assessment. So we've already, half of our 8th graders have already taken the TSI. Several students have passed. And if you pass this assessment, this indicates they are college and career ready. They are ready to take these college classes. So in the spring, we'll get the other half of the 8th grade students, and they will be able to take the TSI. If, let's say, they do not master it at this time, they will have another opportunity before they leave 8th grade. And this will help our high schools get ready and get our numbers ready, make sure our students, if they choose to be enrolled in college, along at, with an LC teacher, they are able to take that class. If they do pass this TSI, or I should say when, because we also administer the TSI assessment. If they are not successful in 8th grade, we will offer it in 9th grade, several opportunities they will have, as well as in 10th grade. So we offer this throughout their high school career. And we want to get these students ready so that they can start in the Early Start Pathways. And the Early Start Pathways program, and I know Mr. Rosales, our Director for Advanced Academics, is here, but we are able to, we have these presentations for parents in English and Spanish. That way, parents are aware, students are aware of this opportunity, so that we can get our numbers up for the Early Start Pathways program. So they do have, I can tell you, one of my kids just graduated with over 20 college hours. That not only helped me, but she said, Mom, I went in already almost a sophomore. So just right out of high school. This is an excellent opportunity for the students. And now we will have Cindy Rodriguez.
So I know that earlier Mr. Castillo mentioned that he wanted to relay some of the programs that our district is doing or looking into, or rather implementing, right? So that we can see improvement, especially since it's been a huge challenge with the pandemic. So one of the ways that we've been doing this, and it's at no cost to the district, because we did apply for a T-class grant that's coming from Texas Education Agency, from the state. And we were able to secure RSSP. In case you've heard that acronym before, it stands for Resilient Schools Support Program. And last year, we would meet with them on a weekly basis, although virtual, but we did get a lot of support in the sense that, getting an outside feedback, perception, to see, what they saw outside of our district, what was going well and what wasn't. And they were guiding us throughout the year. But this year, since we went face-to-face, we were able to meet with them face-to-face. They were able to visit our campuses, and they gave us valuable feedback. And for the most part, we decided that we were going to zero in on third grade simply because at the elementary level, we feel that that's where we took the biggest hit because, of course, these are our children, our little ones, who really do depend on their teacher in order to internalize the information, in order to complete their assignments. And we saw that the biggest hit came in the lower grades at the elementary level. So our third, fourth, and fifth graders did a little bit better than what we saw perhaps our pre-K through second grade students. So we felt like these third graders, this is the first year that they're going to take STAR. So we want to zero in on our third grade students. So RSSP, mainly their name, the name of the company is Ed Direction. They've been giving us support where this is concerned, and so we are providing staff development for our teachers, showing them how to conduct small groups. We just had one a week ago for our third grade teachers. And district-wide, know that at the elementary level, we have the luxury because of the way that our schedules work. We standardize our schedules for all campuses. That helped us quite a bit this year. And in standardizing those schedules, we also standardized small group or intervention time for every campus through their curriculum for reading and for math. So this not only helps with House Bill 4545, which is a requirement from the state, but we also see the benefit of having that standardized throughout the district. And when they visited 6 of our campuses, and they were mainly the South campuses, LBJ feeder pattern, and we visited 3rd, 4th, and 5th grade classrooms, we got very positive feedback from the RSSP group. They are from Austin, however, some of them have taught in other states and then came back to Texas, so it's valuable feedback that we took to heart. This is some of the feedback that we got from them, and they did also mention that we had we were doing the right thing in having the small group set up, and also in assuring that the teachers were standardized in their curriculum. That's important because that allows us to evaluate better what's going right and what we need to work on. So I wanted to show you then the results. Here you have a comparison, and I'm not sure if I'm able to do that. I think it would have to be, right, that you click on, you're using another, it's this one over here? Just on the link. It's just so that I can show, last year, our students took the STAR test, right, in the spring. And so what we wanted to show you, if you go to the third one, Rick, that one right there. We can just put the plus sign and it'll be big. Okay. And I'm not sure if everybody can see it in the back, but I'll try and read it off to you. You have a comparison here of, and you're seeing fourth and fifth grade, because even though we tested our third, fourth, and fifth grade students, obviously our fifth graders went on to middle school, right? And so what we're seeing here is our third and fourth graders from last year who are fourth and fifth graders this year, okay? So in fourth grade, you have 2,070 students who tested who were matched by our accountability department. And the way that they matched them is they said, okay, these are the students that tested last year, and then we tested them again this year with a beginning of year assessment. But they came in for a couple of weeks of face-to-face instruction. Aside from that, I think mostly what affected these students and what we saw, why we saw some gains right away, is that even in the testing itself, you have the students there face-to-face with the teachers. And it has been a huge improvement for us. So you have to consider that they only had a couple of weeks of instruction, and yet we're already seeing the gains. So you see that you have the STAR score at a 62% at approaches. And then when you look at the beginning of year, that's what BOY stands for, then they grew to 67%. And those are our fourth graders. At the meets, then you have 29% for the STAR, where at BOY it's at 35%. So you see the pattern where our goal is a 90-60-30 at the end, right? 90% at approaches, and then we want 60% at meets and 30% at masters. And you see that, you know, we've made some pretty good gains there in getting to that point. Our fifth graders then, you can see in reading from 57 to 69 at approaches, from 30 to 43 at meets, and 13 to 24 at masters. So in each one, we saw some gains. And that's without much instruction at all. And then you have mathematics, where we saw a bigger dip. We've always scored a lot higher in math, but because of the pandemic, we've seen that you can see the value in manipulatives, you can see the value in, you know, the face-to-face instruction for mathematics. And this was nationwide. It is not a United thing, it's not even a Laredo thing, this is nationwide. And so then you see again that 46% at approaches going up to 51% in math for fourth grade, and in fifth grade from 48 to 51%. And in each one, you see gains. They're smaller than in reading, but nonetheless, we are seeing the gains. And it is due a lot to our teachers. They make a huge impact as they are teaching face-to-face. And we have to get out of that in order to go to the next one. Okay, next we have the COVID safety measures. Ms. Gloria Rendon.
Well, good evening once again, parents. I just want to talk to you a little bit about our COVID safety measures, and I know that it's probably on everybody's mind with regards to the new variant that we have. Just want to tell you all that we have a dashboard. I just checked it out right now. We have 12 active cases currently for students, all right? 8 active cases for employees. 807 recovered individuals. So we monitor, we track, we quarantine, we have discussions with parents with regards to individuals who are exposed, individuals who are not vaccinated, and so forth. We offer vaccine clinics. We offer so many other options that we have at the district level. We started off with masks. We have shields in our campuses. We try to distance when feasible, all right, just like we are trying here. It's somehow a little difficult, a little bit more difficult when we have 95% of our students back in our classrooms. But we also have, at the beginning of the school year, we had to change our procedures with cafeteria, all right? And that was something that the local health authority came and they talked to us about the seating arrangements, not to have too many students and try to keep social distancing. So the campuses came back, tweaked their protocols and the procedures immediately. And so what they did is we have not only cafeteria seating, we have gymnasium seating, We have seating in the classrooms, and in some cases, out in the hallways, just trying to keep some distance between the students because that's when the masks were coming off. So those are some measures that we are looking at. We do have vaccine clinics for 5 and 11-year-olds. The vaccines are not coming in as fast as we would like. We have about 2,000 right now. We have clinics currently going on today, tomorrow. Actually, we've had them all week. Second dose clinics. We are coming to the schools at the elementary levels to try to reach the parents and the students. And I have some competition over there with going on, but we're good. They're cute. They're really cute kids. So we're looking at those particular vaccine promotions to our parents. We're bringing them to the school setting so that parents, hopefully, we start at about 2 o'clock in the afternoon and we go on till about 6 or 7 o'clock in the evening. If you pick them up from daycare, if you pick them up after school, we have the opportunities for you all to get those vaccines for those students. We do follow strict quarantine periods. So there's a quarantine period for individuals who are not vaccinated and are positive. And then we have other quarantine issues if you are exposed to an individual who is positive. And that's when the remote instruction kicks in, as Ms. Casanova mentioned. So a student may be, Mr. Garcia may be positive, and his children are positive, or are exposed to him. So they have to stay home at least for 10 days. And so those students, from one day to the next, they are on campus. The following day, they go remote instruction. And so we have teachers who are picking up that curriculum and that program immediately. We also have remote conferencing, as mentioned. We sanitize. We continue to use the fog machines, sanitizing. We've gotten donations for hand sanitizing products and so forth, and we've placed everything in our classrooms. And our teachers really encourage, and they've taught more than anything else, hygiene, wiping down, using hand sanitizer, and so forth and so on. We do have high-grade filters in our HVAC systems, and that's something that parents will not see, but they're in there, they're placed in there. We have air purifiers in our nurses' offices. We went out for bids and proposals for air purification systems in all of our classrooms. So those are coming, all right? All of those systems, they also have not only the air purification, but also a UV light to kill the germs in those particular areas once that UV light sweeps through that area. We have increased ventilation. They open up the dampers in the HVAC systems. We try to open up the windows in the buses, not when it's 120 outside, but we're trying to do so that we can have ventilation in our with our students are at. And of course, we continue to look at new initiatives for our campus and for our campus safety for COVID issues. As far as general campus safety, this is, we already discussed the social and emotional components, and then we look at campus threats. And yesterday, watching the news, you all, on Michigan shooting, looking at, 57 individual different types of shootings across the United States, all right? And the only time we took a break was in 2020 when we had the pandemic, all right, because the kids were not in school. But it seems that everywhere we see, we look at those particular areas, and those are chilling in that sense. And so when we look at those particular things, what are we doing there? All right, what are we doing to ensure or to protect our students out in the classrooms, in the school setting with regards to safety? So what do? We have UISD police everywhere, all right? We have security guards in our campuses as well. And then even though it's a bathroom threat, and you'll see it, and it goes through social media frenzy, but a bathroom threat that somebody says, I'm going to shoot up a school, it's there, we investigate, we take the time, we follow through, we pursue it, we meet with the parents, we do bathroom checks to monitor or to limit the amount of time, say from 12:45 to 1:45, that bathroom had been checked, the threat came in at 1:30, I know who went into the bathroom, what time I have to look at, because those bathrooms are monitored, reviewed, they're inspected every hour. And so I don't have to look at 300 kids who went into the bathroom. I look in at 20, 25, 30 kids who may have gone into the bathroom. We had one case today. We interviewed 6 students, found the individual with the Sharpie, and we we take proper administrative disciplinary action on those individual students, right? So we continue to do that. The biggest issue is that these students think that this is funny and it's disruptive to their campus, and that's really all they want to do. They're bored, they want some attention, they think it's funny, it's a joke, nothing's going to happen to them. So what we're doing is we have partnered with Mark Montemayor, and he's been giving presentations to our students. He comes in with his team of individuals, and they are presenting the different consequences to the student body so that they'll know there's going to be actions taken, not only criminal, but also administrative. These students are arrested, they're detained, all right? And if they're adults, there's a felony for these individual students. And so parents need to know about the consequences as well as the students. And it doesn't matter, 10 years and above, you may be charged, and you're going to be detained and taken to juvenile. All right, so that's what we need to share with our students. We have partnered also with Crime Stoppers, and so we've offered rewards for these individual issues that are occurring. They have worked as a deterrent, and then we continue to communicate with parents on messages of potential threat, all right? And we try to do that as timely as possible, but we're investigating. And we don't have all the answers, so I don't want to shoot a text message to you all or a message to you all when the information is fragmented. So we'll send out messages as needed to you all. With regards to additional campus safety, we look at police officers on campus. We practice drills, all right? And this morning I sent out 2 videos to our principals and our assistant principals. One was the actual shooting, the article of how many cases of school violence we've had with regards to school shootings. And number 2, if you have not seen it, Google it, all right? There is a video circulating, I saw it on Education Week, where the students in Michigan, they're in a classroom, and we practice lockdown drills. And we tell their teachers, do not open the door to anyone. If somebody, even if it's your principal, even if you recognize a voice, you do not open doors, period. And that video is very, it's chilling, but it's very impactful because the teacher, they're identifying themselves as a sheriff officer, and the teacher says, no, we're not willing to take the risk. They're saying, open the door, it's all clear. And the teacher in that classroom who has in charge of the class, I'm not taking that risk. We're not willing to take that risk. The sheriff officer uses a word, it's okay, bro, everything's under control. And the kids hear the word bro, and they say, that's a red flag. That's not a sheriff's officer. They open the door and they run out into the snow. Unfortunately, we have to practice things like that. And we tell our campuses, you do not open doors. We have keys secured in the area that administration or police officers will come in and open doors. You are not to open doors for anyone, all right? So we're looking at those threat assessments. We collaborate with law enforcement. The week before Thanksgiving, we met with a large contingency of law enforcement agents who are our partners, and we meet with them twofold. We want them to know our procedures and our practices, and we're going to need their assistance should an event like that ever happen in our schools, all right? Unfortunately, we have to plan for that. The last item on there is a reunification plan. If you look, when Arlington had the school shooting, when Michigan had their school shooting, parents, you don't come to the school site to pick up your child. This becomes a crime scene. And so we take the children to another location, and that's where you will reunite with your child. All right? And we have to practice those particular items. How do I know who's picking up the child? Who do I release to? How do I comfort the child? How do I tell the parent that their child is in the hospital? All of those things we have to practice, unfortunately. And so that's what we do. Will it be chaotic? Yes. But hopefully we'll have some controlled chaos to some type of a degree. All right, Ms. Laida Benavides will now present. And any questions you all with regards to COVID or safety issues before I give the floor to somebody else? Thank you all.
Thank you, Gloria. Good evening, everybody. I know Mr. Gonzalez did mention that our budget is $400 million. That's our operating budget. That's where we pay most of our salaries to the bus drivers, teachers, etc., our supplies, the lights, insurance, water. And that's our operation budget. What I want to talk to you all about tonight is the money that our federal government sent us. And this money was based on our economically disadvantaged students. And so we did get quite a bit. I know the number that Mr. Gonzalez shared with you, that about for every 4 students that we have, 3 of them are considered economically disadvantaged. And so we got this money based on those numbers of kids. So we were awarded $127 million. I know that sounds like a lot of money, but if you listen to all the programs that were presented to you tonight, this is what we're supporting with this money. They did give us some rules on this money. As always, there's always strings attached. But one of the main rules on this money is that 20% of it has to be used to address learning loss, because our federal government recognized that as these kids stayed at home learning virtually, I mean, they were learning, there were some learning losses. And so, as you heard instruction this evening, they are doing many things, many good things to address this learning loss. So the federal government recognized you have to spend at least 20% of this. You can spend more, but at least 20%, which is about 25 million, of this money on learning loss. And so you'll see some of the strategies that we've incorporated into the plan. And if you have any more questions on it, we do have a website. Our website has a link to our ESSER 3 plan, which is this one. This plan was developed in July based on what we thought we were going to need for this coming school year. So you'll see all the strategies. The learning acceleration is a big part of it. In there, this is extra duty for teachers in tutorials to meet that House Bill 4545. Just all kinds of instructional softwares, just strategies that we need to support in the classroom. And then on the family engagement, what the federal government recognizes is that we do need our parents involved. We need our parents involved to help get these students back on track. And so we did have some money set aside to work on our parenting center, to work, we started up our parent summit. We had our parent summit again, face-to-face, in November, which we thought was very successful. We had almost 2,700 parents attend. And so they also felt these were important things that we need to invest in. On technology and infrastructure, we have upgraded our networks to be able to handle Wi-Fi better. We have invested in Chromebooks for one-to-one initiative with the students. And then we've also worked on hotspots. We do have areas in our district where some students do not have access to the internet. It might be their own parents not getting the access, or just the area that they live. Our district goes all the way down to El Cenizo in the south part of our district, and all the way up to the Mines Road area beyond, up to the county lines. And so what we had to do last year was actually put some Wi-Fi buses. We actually sent buses out into the ranchos and to the colonias to support the Wi-Fi for these kids that couldn't come in. Then we also have what we call the wraparound services, and this also was talked about, the social and emotional learning. We put some money in the budget, or in this budget, for counselors. We not the academic counselors, but licensed professional counselors to help with emotional learning, to help those counselors at our campuses that are usually working on the academic end, but now to help on the counseling end. Then we also put a lot of money in safety, and these are the projects that Ms. Rendon talked about. We are buying air purification units. They started getting installed the week of Thanksgiving. The nurses' stations have them. The special ed unit classrooms have them. And then we were able to obtain some more and put them in the pre-K classrooms and the kinder classrooms. And then Ms. Rendon also alluded to a project that we're working on. It's called a UVC germicidal light project, and that might be about $7 million. We went out for bids on that. This is where there will be a UVC light installed within our air handlers throughout the district. Every school will have this. So you're killing the virus that goes through our air conditioning systems. And then we also created COVID teams through our nursing department. As our students started coming back, and that's where Ms. Rendon has been able to get her information to monitor cases out there. We have COVID teams at the district level, but remember, we also do invest in a registered nurse at every single campus and nurse aides. So this has been our investment for safety. Let me just also elaborate on the remote conference teachers. This was something we didn't know about in July, but when Texas Education Agency said, we'll allow some kids to stay at home if they are COVID positive, but you have to continue teaching them, we went ahead and kept some remote conference teachers. So we actually have some teachers in the elementary that teach these students live classroom sessions. In the middle school and high school, what they do is our teachers record sessions to show the kids that have had to stay at home. And of course, we're paying them extra to do these sessions. So that's been our investment in COVID. Again, it's 3 years, but again, we don't even know what's going to happen this spring. The only thing we can do is prepare as we have for the fall semester. And these, again, are our measures. We will continue to monitor these funds and see if we have to rearrange the plan to address other issues that come up. But if you have any questions, this plan is on our website. We do plan to revise it with different things that have been coming up. So again, if you have any questions, they'll be there on our webpage. Thank you.
Okay, that's the air handler unit with the UVC lights that will go inside every air conditioning unit in the entire district. And that will neutralize any kind of bacteria or viruses. We're in the process of going through the design, and installation will be coming early next year. But that's the latest technology available, and very few universities and just a handful of districts have implemented this. And we're the first district, from what I'm told by Texas Education Agency, that is promoting this to implement it in the entire district, 100%. So talk a little bit about our facilities bond program that was passed by you all and our taxpayers in 2013, but approximately a $400 million bond program to address all of the student growth that was projected, as well as update all of our campuses and build new schools to ensure that we had adequate campuses and classrooms, technology, district-wide. But some of those projects that exclusively address District 7th and its growth and needs for instructional areas was mentioned earlier, the 2 ninth grade campuses. Obviously, we built 4, one for each one of our high schools district-wide. 2 of those within District 7, one for Alexander High School, one for United High School. Those have been completed, very successful, excellent facilities. Those campuses are not very common throughout the state of Texas. We've had district administrators, superintendents from San Antonio, Corpus, throughout Texas coming to visit and tour our facilities. Not only instructionally, they've been very successful, but our students, our teachers just love those campuses. And I'm going to show you some photos in a minute. But we have built those 2, and they've opened in the last couple of years. One of the concepts that we implemented was to standardize our construction. All these designs, you're going to notice they are prototypical to ensure that we get very effective cost efficiencies by standardization. Also, maintenance and operations result in dramatic reduction in our costs. Elementary schools within District 7, we did build 5 new elementary schools throughout the district. 2 of these new facilities to address student growth and overpopulated areas, try to reduce the number of portable temporary buildings throughout the district. We built San Isidro Elementary School, completed back in 2017, 2018 was opened in 2018, and at a cost of $16.5 million. Very beautiful campus, and it was a boom right after we built that campus on that subdivision. Hundreds of homes were built around it. So it was generated a lot of economic growth for the city. Roberto J. Santos Elementary School also completed actually this year, opened in August of 2021, also for $17.5 million. Very economical for, we were like 20% below the going construction costs. Again, because those 5 elementary schools were prototypical. We used the efficiencies of trying to reduce our construction costs. But these 2 campuses are extremely energy efficient. We've monitored every week, we monitor our electrical consumption, and they're below 15 to 20% from older campuses. So very efficient, and I have the latest instructional technology. And then, of course, something that was completed in the 14 campuses within District 7 is the security stations. When we had bond planning back in 2012, 2013, parents, basically just the majority, overwhelmingly listed their highest priority in any bond project was security, safety and security. So quite a bit of funds were allocated for that purpose. One of those projects was to build a security station at the main entrance of every one of our 40 campuses, and that has been completed. Every campus, like you noticed probably at the entrance here at your school, at Matias de Llano Elementary School, every high school, every middle school, and those are security stations with all the technology to ensure that our officers have immediate access to law enforcement, to monitor the entire campus, state of the art. Again, we're one of the few districts in Texas that has a police officer and a security station at every one of our campuses. But that was what the parents and the Blue Ribbon Committee mandated, and that's what we followed, and it's been very successful. There's just some photographs there. I know I want to keep it brief because we want to open it for dialogue and leave some time. Typically, my presentations last about 1 hour, but don't worry, I'm not going to take that long here. I know it's, but I was told I got only 5 minutes, so I'll go quickly. We had 200 photos that we wanted to show you because we're so proud of our facilities, but we had to narrow it down to 10. So here is United 9th campus. You see the photograph there, as well as we have United 9th grade for United District, the feeder pattern for United High School, and Alexander 9th. So you can see there the overall appearance of the school with a beautiful entrance that really relates to the community, the pride for our students, for our parents, because these schools are for you. These schools are the community. They're for our students. We want them to have that pride when they go into this campus and start the day the right way. The same for our staff. And you go into these campuses inside, very safe environment. And just a close-up picture of the main entrance, and you can notice right there is a security station that we have at every one of our campus. Alexander 9th, you notice the same design, again using the prototypical, so it's exactly what we have at the 2 South high schools as well as the 2 in District 7, allowing us to make it a lot more efficient to maintain, whether it's technology, network systems, or building maintenance. Again, some more views of Alexander 9th grade campus. Also wanted to present some of the projects that we implemented at the Alexander High School main campus. Again, also part of this district where they were in dire need of facilities for an agricultural science program, where students from that campus had to be bused to United High School, and there was a very large interest in that program. Agricultural science, I mean, that's something that is really popular and very necessary in our community and our economy. So this facility was built for practically only Alexander to address the 200, 300 students that immediately signed up. They were being bused previously. Also the fine arts being an essential part of instructional program. High school, the program, the facilities that we had been over really just, we outgrew them, and it was inadequate. This facility has the latest for the band, for our students, music, choir, orchestra, everything with the fine arts. Very proud of this building, and our students just love that. Now going on to the elementary schools. The two schools that are in District 7 of, like I mentioned, San Isidro Elementary School. And again, you see the entrance, very unique to the point that when people show up, they have pride in this facility. And you know where the entrance is going to be located. Right here is our security station. So they monitor everything not only through there, but their system over 60 surveillance system cameras that they monitor every part of the campus. Inside every of these facilities, those 5 prototypes, one of the things that we heard from teachers and parents, again, addressing the safety, the security. Sorry about that. That's telling me that I need to stop. This is the last slide. Okay, I promise. And then, of course, we have this playground, but it's not only a playground courtyard, but it's actually an amphitheater. It's an outdoor classrooms. And I noticed, Mr. Los Santos, you lived that at Freedom Elementary School, and teachers love it. Our students like it. They like to go outside, especially now with the pandemic. It's great. I think you have like a waiting list for throughout the day. It's being used, and it's not only it's good to go out in a different environment, but it provides an area for instruction. Also, it has outdoor lighting where parents, students can have events, meetings after school hours. It's a very nice area, and each one of our schools has it. It's surrounded completely by the building, so it's very safe. No intruders would even have any way to have access that area. And then our last elementary, the number 5 that we just built, Roberto J. Santos Elementary School. And who better to tell you if it's good or not? Mr. Santos is here. He can tell us. I mean, everything. He was there every day ensuring that every detail and everything, and it's beautiful. Our teachers love it. Our parents, every day they have enjoyed that successful campus that, again, was able to be built with all the latest technology. And again, the last section is about security. I'm sure you've seen that throughout your campuses, but again, that's the mandate that we receive from our parents and our teachers, our staff. Address the security. So we have these stations at every campus. The minute you approach, there's somebody there ensuring that what is your business there, and go through the Raptor system, to check their background, their records. This is a very nice area where the officers have access to the latest technology in case of an emergency. And now, okay, I'm done here. Like I said, we really honestly, truthfully, we had 200 photos, but I had to cut to 9.
Thank you, sir. Well, I wanted to thank you once again. I want to also recognize our city councilman for the area, Dr. Marte Martinez. Thank you for joining us this evening. You want to open up to questions?
That concludes the formal presentation that we offer, and thank you again, my good friend, Dr. Marte Martinez. Always good to see you. We don't talk with each other as we used to before because of the COVID era, but we're here. And I've been telling the families and all their guests today that it's about collaborating with others. We don't stand alone as a community. We don't stand alone as an independent school district. It's our task that we always share our thoughts and our values with others, particularly all levels of government. It transcends just our school district. Our school district is very innovative. We have a lot of ideas. We bring a lot of ideas to the table. Some of them are met well and some are not. But we keep on trying. And therefore, where you sit, I've sat before as a parent. My daughter graduated from United High School, went to United Middle School. All those years, I remember, why does the school district do this and not that? Well, this is an opportunity for you to have those questions answered. If we can, we will do our best to answer them. We have a whole group of staff, professional staff, administration staff here to hopefully answer your question. Your question might be relevant not only to you, but to somebody else sitting here tonight. If that questions are directed to me, fine. If it's directed to somebody else, better. But you understand, what I can do is at least facilitate this opportunity and bring that dialogue. And one closing moment that I wanted to share, safety and security is very important to me. As you were advised, I'm a juvenile probation officer, and we do have a lot of young people who do commit offenses against the laws of the state of Texas. So what we do in that form is do what we have to do to follow the law. We have to give that opportunity for that person to defend themselves. We have to give that opportunity for that child and the parent to have an opportunity to be heard, so we don't make rash decisions. And I ask you again tonight, also sitting in the stage or sitting here, that we don't make rash decisions, because in my book, as your representative, I'm going to keep an open mind. I will understand your point of view, but at the end of the day, it will be a well-balanced decision that I make. You'll be considerate of everybody, but like I told you earlier, there's always two sides of the coin. That's how I see it. And therefore, with that, what happened also in Oxford, Michigan, is a tragedy. These are young people committing violent crimes. We have to be very cognizant of our families and our family unit at home. What are we doing with our own children at home? So be thoughtful of that, because those things do come up to us at the school level, and it's very difficult for us as administrators, or should I say, as a board of trustees, to be able to understand what's going on in every family unit. But I think the people that are here with me tonight understand that we have a task ahead of us, and that we're going to do our best, and we're going to work hard to satisfy all those concerns, because that's who I am, and that's what we bring to the table. And therefore, Ms. Rendon, you want to see if there's any questions, and we can all prepare to answer?
We'll be taking a few questions and comments. Mr. Obando?
Again, my name is Joe Vando, and my daughter goes to the new Santos school, just so you have reference. I want to commend everybody for the safety measures that they're taking with COVID, and especially with those security doors, which time back we fought a lot to get them there, especially to have a police officer in each school. And I really appreciate you guys taking our children's safety. But I would like to ask you personally, what if that threat comes from inside? Because during the tenure of the past superintendent, Mr. Santos, there was some very serious accusations levied against the attorney for the school district. And I'm not going to repeat them here because there's kids here. And those accusations culminated with a lawsuit that in August, the plaintiff attorney, had the good sense to share that with all the school districts where this attorney works. I'm surprised and disheartened and asqueado that this person is still allowed to have business with the school district. And they protected him so much so that I've received a letter, a legal threat, that I should not be commenting on this. But I don't care about those legal threats, because I'm going to protect my kid. I'd rather go to jail than have my kid suffer under the consequences of any predator within the school district. So I want to ask you personally, because I've asked other trustees on their opinion, and they hide behind the umbrella of the board. But I want to ask you, personally, what is your opinion on this? What actions have you taken? Have you written a letter to the board president that you're against this? Or have you remained silent in acquiescence to this? Have you taken action and voiced your opposition to this? Or have you remained silent and acquiesced to this? I want to know what you personally have done until now to remove this person from the school district.
I mentioned earlier that I believe in due process. I believe that the law should take its course. And when that, I cannot answer personally. I can only answer as a Board of Trustee member. So I'm sorry, you're not going to get a personal answer. But I can tell you as a trustee, I would treat that individual or individuals, wherever the case might be, as fairly and equitably as everybody would treat you. The way you want to be treated, that's the way we're going to treat everybody at the school board. So that would be. Well, Ms. Rendon, more questions? Oh. I'll hand it.
Okay, I just make the comment. It's true that Juan Cruz was accused of a serious allegation, and we are parents, right? We have kids, right? What happened to happen to our kids? We would like to the board do something about it, right? Because so far the district's here, the board's here, and we are both of them. We're the one who elect these people to represent us. Yes or no? What we need to do, we collect signature for everybody till you can do something, or the district do something. I need to go house to house and get those signatures. No, she said you're not gonna answer my question. So, this is serious crimes, and the school, the way I see it is protecting. David Garcia, you're human resources, right? So, as a principal, getting involved in the same situation, what happened to the principal?
Employment matters that surface will be addressed administratively, and anything beyond that, we're not at liberty to disclose.
Do we get suspended? Do we be suspended, a teacher or a principal?
At this point, the administrative action at this point is not at liberty to disclose.
Thank you, sir. Once again, you all, this is a forum not necessarily to bring up those particular issues. You asked several questions, sir. We've had these issues addressed at other board meetings. We've addressed these concerns with these individuals. If there's any other questions that we can hopefully entertain for you all with regards to what the presentation was or any other district matters, please go ahead. If not, we will conclude this particular session right now. All right? Anything else? Yes, Mr. Gonzalez, how are you?
Did the district get any AARP funds, and how would those funds be used, or how much was received? American Rescue Plan.
Those are the ESSER funds, sir. That was part of the plans that Ms. Benavides presented. Yes, sir. We had ESSER 1, ESSER 2, ESSER 3 funds across the district. The total monies, Ms. Benavides? 150 million that we received.
Yes, we were fortunate, right? Starting with the Trump administration last March, they sent us some funds. Texas Education Agency directed us how we could use those funds. And then we got a second tranche last December. And again, we used some of those funds for some COVID measures that were talked about also. But the biggest amount of funds was the 127 million that I had that one slide on that we can use for the next 3 years, knowing that this pandemic may not go away suddenly. And so that's how we plan to use these funds that came from the American Rescue Plan.
Thank you, Ms. Benavides. Mr. Gonzalez, any other questions that we can? Yes, sir. Mr. Leitner?
Hi, my name is Edward Leitner. I live here in the Bougainvilleas area. Now, this is kind of more addressed to Dr. Martinez over there. Is there a way, and I don't know if any of you have gone through Woodridge and International at 7 o'clock in the morning and at 5 o'clock in the afternoon? I mean, there's going to be another death. Definitely. When? I can't say when. That it's going to happen, it's going to happen. There are people crossing International to get from the park to the other side of Woodridge. That's at 5. In the morning, the kids are crossing back and forth, okay? And there is no way to get out of there. So I understand that I think you've been addressed with this issue before. I don't know if maybe there's a way where UISD could put a police officer there in the morning at least to help out, get the buses out and in and traffic in and out and, you know, help out a little bit before something major happens. And it's going to be a kid. We already had one death right there on that on the turn. You ought to, my wife and I will sit out there on a Friday night just enjoying the outside, and you will hear cars zooming through International, or for that matter, Havana, right in front of Malakoff Elementary, just blaring by. Nothing has been done about it, and that's a major concern. Thank you.
Thank you. Excellent question. You want to answer it, Dr. Martinez? I think, Mr. Gonzalez, you also had some point? Okay, Dr. Martinez.
Board member, I do apologize. I'm here in support of the school board member, but I'll take a moment to answer. Yes, plans are in the works. We have looked at traffic counts in that area. We do understand the problem. It's not just during the morning hours, it's all day really. We have kids that are walking back and forth to the park. There are two solutions, actually there are three solutions. Our first solution is a light, but the light is pretty expensive. We don't have the funds to do that right now. The second solution, which is something that we're looking at, is these flashing, blinking lights where people can hit those buttons and then it'll kind of cause traffic to slow down because they'll see the blinking lights. The last solution is a raised crosswalk across all of International. The problem is that people do travel throughout International, north and south, and so we have to weigh, on the one hand, people's commute, and versus on the other hand, weighing the safety. I don't think that the school board is able to put funds outside of the school area. At least that's my understanding. And so this really is a city problem, and I will fix it. We're going to be looking at raised crosswalks. That's just, I think, the lesser of two evils. We did the same thing at San Isidro, right where the park is, and I think everybody's seen it. At the beginning, it was very difficult for people to understand, and so we had people kind of launching. But after about 2 to 3 weeks, people recognized that it was there, and we were able then to slow traffic down, and we have not had any near misses in that area where previously we had accidents and actually a lot of near misses with one child culminating in one child being hit by a car. That happened as well in this intersection, and so we will be solving that issue shortly. So just so you know, it's already in the works. We anticipate 2 to 3 months. Both, it will be built in John Valls and it will be built at North Central Park at the Trailhead facility.
Thank you, Dr. Martinez. That's one of the benefits of having a constituent like Dr. Martinez in District 7. It helps alleviate the questions and the answers. So thank you. I don't know if, Mr. Gonzalez, did you have some input on this?
Or anything else, I want to thank all of you for being here this evening. I know it's a little lengthy for taking time out of your schedule this evening. Or anything else, you saw the presentations in any area. If you have a concern or question, we're going to be around for a little while. But you can always go online and look for us. You can email us. We're more than happy to set a meeting with you personally. Or we have a little time right now. But more than anything else, I want to thank you for your time. I know Mr. Garcia, he's on the website just like I am. Mike Gaddis is on the website as well. Laila Benavides, Mr. Rangel. we're here. You can email us, contact us, and we'll be available for you. Are there any questions in lieu of our presentation? Is what I'm asking. Anybody? Mr. Castillo, anything else? Well, thank you again. By the way, the Cowboys play in about 1 minute, so let's just FYI.
Thank you again very much. I really do appreciate it. Look forward to doing this again next year. Thank you. Have a good evening.